Hello, and thank you for staying tuned to the show that goes around the continent to bring you stories near and far. I am Bukola Koka here at Channels Television in Lagos, and I'm joined by Vincent Makori from Voice of America in Washington, D.C.
Thanks, I'm Vincent Makori at the Voice of America. Happy to be with you again for another edition of Africa 54. Let's start off with the latest from Nigeria. Channels Television brings you that story.
As Nigeria joins the rest of the world to mark this year's World Teachers' Day, teachers are asking governments at federal and state levels to prioritize investment in the education sector by providing infrastructure and improving the welfare of teachers. October the 5th every year was established by the United Nations in 1994 to celebrate the World Teachers' Day and raise awareness on the challenges that teachers face.
The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Minister of Education and the Head of Service are among top government officials attending this year's World Teachers' Day in Abuja. The day is set aside by the United Nations and the International Labour Organization to recognize and honor teachers globally. Parade by teachers is a significant part of the celebration as it adds color to the occasion. The theme for this year calls for the need to hear teachers' voices towards a new social contract in the education sector.
Poor funding and inadequate investment in education constitute major barrier to effective implementation of educational policies and programs in Nigeria. The international recommended benchmarks of at least 6% of GDP and/or at least 20% of the national budget.
Officials of the United Nations draw attention to areas that need urgent intervention in the sector.
In line with the recommendations of the United Nations Secretary General's high-level panel on the teaching profession, we stress the importance of international cooperation to ensure teachers are granted the professional respect, autonomy, and resource they deserve.
However, the federal government is reassuring teachers of its commitment to improve welfare and investment in the sector.
The federal government of Nigeria presently places emphasis on the teaching profession as enshrined in the national policy on education, which states among other goals of teacher education to provide highly motivated, conscientious, and efficient classroom teachers for all levels of our educational system.
We recognize the urgency of addressing the challenges in the sector, and we are committed to ensuring that Nigerian teachers have the tools, recognition, and resources needed to succeed.
World Teachers' Day is marked annually on October 5, and as teachers speak to the issues affecting them this year, many here hope that those in authority would listen and act.
And joining us now to discuss the benefit of the World Teachers' Day celebration is the Education Secretary for Mushin Local Government Education Authority here in Lagos, Mrs. Alice Olufemi Akinlude. Hello, madam, and welcome to Africa 54.
Thank you, ma'am.
It's good to have you. So let's start this way. Beyond the routine of gatherings and themes on the annual World Teachers' Day celebration, what benefit does it actually bring to teachers? And you could speak to your community, your locality, schools in your area.
Well, the celebration of World Teachers' Day is usually on October 5 globally, and it holds significant importance, at various levels, both at the local, at the national, and even at the global level, because it highlights the importance, the essential role teachers play in shaping generations, in shaping societies, and fostering development. And in the nation, what Teachers' Day is a time to reflect on the importance of education for the country's development, And In many nations, teachers are instrumental in implementing national education policies, which aim at reducing poverty, promote gender equality, and improve health outcomes through education. And by all these, the government will have more ear preparing for the day. Everyone is always preparing for the day to hear good news, and the authority will be able to, okay, what can we do to this system to improve education in this community, in this state, or in this nation throughout the world. I think it is very necessary. It's not gathering alone. It's an opportunity for all of us to see the benefits we get, and for the government to realize the importance of the teachers in the community, in the nation, and globally.
What might you believe? It's been about 3 decades, of celebrations of a World Teachers' Day. Do teachers' remuneration correspond with, the activities lined up and the importance placed on that day? And if it does not, what do you believe governments at the federal and state levels should do to improve remuneration of teachers?
Well, in most cases, teachers' remuneration may fall short of reflecting their immense contributions, generally, because they believe that teachers' reward is always in heaven. Thank God we have both sides, on earth and in heaven. That is double portion for us. That is the benefit of being a teacher. And so the government in their own area have been trying improvements in salaries. In many regions, teachers earn significantly less than the professionals in other fields. We know that. But still, the government is trying because they believe that teachers are many. We have the largest population when it comes to professional numbers, when we are calculating numbers of doctors, numbers of teachers, both for primary, for secondary, for tertiary, then we are more. And it gives authority that challenge that how can we cope with all these figures. But the importance of teachers in any nation cannot be overemphasized, because without doing it right from this foundation, then the whole thing is in a mess. Generally, it has not been so bad in handling it at the state level. Let me talk about Lagos State. Lagos State has been trying in improving the standard of teachers, and improving infrastructure, in improving teaching and learning, training, every area. Lagos State has been like that, improving. Salary, we get it early in Lagos State. And before 25th of every month, honestly, we got our salary. And that is a plus for Lagos State. And the governor is out there because of his THEMES agenda. It has become THEMES Plus, and is doing everything within his capacity to improve the standard. It is getting better, that I will say.
How can authorities help teachers prioritize further learning and training to enhance their work?
Well, like I will say, for this particular state, training had always been done in the long vacation. We have holiday from July, resuming by September. During this period, it has always been training for teachers in different levels. It can be for the junior class, maybe the kindergarten. We have for the senior. At every level, training had been on in the state before resumption. That is, and for the education secretaries, we are always ready for the training, and the government in this stage have been very good at that.
But it's still speaking about training. How can the authorities also leverage technology to enhance the teaching and learning experience, particularly for the students, for the pupils in public schools and even maybe in the private sector as well?
Well, the themes agenda of the governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has really done so good to this. It has improved the training for both the teachers and the children. You know, if the teachers are trained, definitely they must come back to replicate what they are being taught. And the parents are commending this.
And we hope that when we return for a review next year, we'll be talking about more milestones reached in celebrating teachers, not just in Lagos, but also across Nigeria and hopefully across the globe. We must anchor at this point, and thank you very much. We've been speaking with the Education Secretary, Mushi Local Government Area Education Authority here in Lagos, Mrs. Alice Olufemi Akilude. Thank you so much for your time, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
We want to know what you think about Africa 54 and the stories we cover. Join the conversation on Facebook. The address is Africa 54, and check out our headlines 24/7 on voaafrica.com. After the break, a look at Nigeria's fight against drug addiction. Welcome back to Africa 54. I'm Vincent McCory in Washington. According to Nigeria Drug Enforcement Agency statistics, more than 14 million people in the country misuse drugs. Some of them are children or teens. El Hassan Bala reports from Kano, Nigeria.
The new road in the Sabangari area of the northern Nigeria city of Kano is a place where adults and many teenagers come to smoke drugs like cannabis or half inhalants, also known as gum or sholisho. 13-year-old Ibrahim Idris uses cannabis and an inhalant called solution. He went into a rehabilitation center 6 months ago, but is now back to using.
I am enjoying it here. In fact, all of us you see here love it. Anyone among us can't leave this place. Even if you take us to our parents, we must return because we love it.
But 11-year-old Kumatu just wants to return to his family.
I want someone to take me back to my parents. I am sure even my mom has forgotten about me, or she possibly thought I am dead by now. I am a cannabis smoker.
According to Nigeria's National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, over 14 million Nigerians engage in the misuse of drugs, mostly cannabis. A lack of drug rehabilitation centers in Nigeria inspired Kano-based anti-drug activist Abubakar Shaibu Metumaki to build a private center mainly for underage addicts. A former user himself, Metumaki explains why some young Nigerians turn to drugs.
The major reason addicts in Nigeria return to drug abuse are two. The first one is lack of parental guide and training. The second reason is poverty in many homes.
Muhammad Awal Imran's two sons, aged 16 and 18, are drug users. He says parents should not abandon their children to drugs, but keep trying to help them.
I have two drug addict sons. I have been bringing them close to me and it is helping. One has stopped and the other has reduced.
Nigeria's National Drug Law Enforcement Agency says that over the past 3 years, it has seized 7.6 million kilograms of illicit drugs such as cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine, and cannabis. And it has had success in court against those who sell them.
When you also look at the number of prosecution, that is convictions, though the agency had also prosecuted and successfully gotten convicted within the same bracket, over 9,000.
According to a 2021 United Nations report, Nigeria will have 20 million drug users by the year 2030. But Ibrahim Idris and some of the people he uses with have other plans. They say they hope to get helped and return to a clean life. Al Hassan Bala, VOA News, Kano, Nigeria.
Are you worried about your damaged petrol vehicle? Well, worry no more, as an Egyptian man is ready to pimp your ride. With more than 30 years of experience and a lover of vintage cars, Elhami Izzat has taken up the challenge to revive classic cars at his auto repair shop.
The love for vintage cars is not just a hobby for this Egyptian man, Elhami Izzat. He's now making money from it as he turns his passion into a full-time profession. He does this by opening a car repair shop for like-minded people who want to fix their beloved classic vehicles. He opened his auto repair shop 3 years ago and has worked in the field of classic cars for more than 30 years. Refurbishing a classic car may take months or even years to complete, depending on what the car needs. Some cars need new parts, while others need original spare parts imported from factories abroad. The most important task for Izzat is to bring life back to the old cars as they once were in their original state. According to Izzat, such a task requires months of research and planning.
You have to start studying what a certain car used to look like in its original state, and based on that, you decide whether you will manufacture some parts or order them from abroad, or even renovate and bring life to those parts if this is doable.
So far, he has refurbished nearly 50 cars and hopes that Egypt eases restrictions on the imports of classic cars. A law passed in the year 2020 in Egypt stipulates that people wanting to import classic cars should obtain a special permit from the Ministry of Transportation.
For some African communities, the road to food safety is traveled best by tractor. A company called Hello Tractor, supported by non-profit Haifa International, is enabling poor smallholding farmers to rent or buy mechanized farm equipment that is helping them increase their productivity and profits. Mohammed Yusuf reports from the town of Raburi in western Kenya.
A new tractor arrives in this Hello Tractor yard in Kenya, a sign of growing demand as planting season is well underway. The tractors are brought here to help small farmers till and prepare their land. Hello Tractor says it has served more than 100,000 farmers in Kenya during the first 3 months of this year. Geoffrey Kongo, a rice farmer, is one of a few farmers today who have rented a tractor for $150 to cultivate his 5-hectare piece of land. Using a tractor and other mechanized farm equipment, Kongo says he is able to produce 200 bags of rice, compared to just 2 when he was using a hoe for cultivation.
The tractor has helped a lot. I am able to get enough food that I can even sell. It has also brought good relationships in our community because a tractor cultivates land for many people in a very short time. We are also food secure here.
Food security tuko nayo ya kutosha. Haifa International says access to tractors in Kenya, Nigeria and Uganda has boosted the income of small-holding farmers by more than 200% and increased their maize yields by 88%. The US-based non-profit has collaborated with Hello Tractor since 2021, when it invested $4.5 million to develop mechanization infrastructure in Africa. Under the program, small farmers are able to purchase tractors on a pay-as-you-go model. The two organizations say mechanization has helped farmers cultivate more land and create more opportunities for the community.
An acre of land, one person using the traditional methods of farming, it will take them about 3 to 4 days of farming, of land preparation within their farm, right? But if you're looking at mechanization services, say we're looking at reaping, it takes the tractor owner about 2 to 3 hours, and they're able to prepare the land for cultivation, and that saves a huge amount of time. So we're looking at reduced cost from 3 days to 3 hours.
We also looked at other impact that came with this kind of arrangement. We had youth in the community, youth and women that got opportunities to earn their livelihood. We had youth who are working as booking agents. They are able to connect farmers with the tractors through Hello Tractor app, and they are able to book and aggregate this land.
While some African farmers have adopted mechanization and recognize its advantages, many still rely on traditional methods like manual plowing and harvesting. This limits their ability to cultivate large areas and leaves them impoverished. Hello Tractor, which also provides tractors to farmers in Nigeria and Uganda, says it hopes its services will put them on a road to greater prosperity. Mohammed Yusuf, VOA News, Rabur, Western Kenya.
The Igbo community recently gathered to celebrate Heritage Day in a vibrant and culturally rich event. A large number of young people aimed to teach Nigerian youth living in South Africa about the traditions and customs of the Igbo culture. Our correspondent, Innocent Samosa, brings details in this report.
It was a day filled with color, music and tradition as the Igbo community in South Africa came together to celebrate Heritage Month. The event focused on educating young Nigerians living in South Africa about Igbo culture, ensuring that the next generation stays connected to their roots. Attendees were treated to a demonstration of a traditional Igbo wedding. The event not only celebrated the culture, but also provided a platform for young people to learn and carry these traditions forward. The president of Igbo Nation in South Africa had this to say.
One of the things that came into me it's to build up a lasting legacy, because it's not about us, because most of us are getting old. We need to hand over the batons to the younger ones. That is what you see today.
Organizers emphasized the importance of preserving cultural heritage, particularly for youth living away from home, to ensure that the customs and values of Igbo people continues to thrive.
The purpose, literally, it has been lovely 3 months, and the purpose was to bring the Igbo youths together, to groom them. A lot of them don't know where they're from. They don't know, they just know that my father is a Nigerian, that's it.
Indeed, a celebration of Heritage Month in style. From Johannesburg, South Africa, Innocent Samosa, Channels Television News.
One Washington teacher's attempt to help one student has turned into something much larger. VOA's Philip Alexio has this story of a chess academy for kids.
We'll do a little bit of chess first, and then we'll let you eat.
Shaka Green is the founder and executive director of Bravo Zulu Chess Academy in Washington, D.C.
Bravo Zulu is actually a nautical term. I spent some time in the United States Navy. It just means job well done. And as soon as I heard it the first time, I was like, well, yeah, of course it does. All right, E2, E4, we know that move. We've seen it thousands and thousands of times at this point.
The idea of Bravo Zulu Chess Academy began when Shaka Green noticed a third grader named Antonio having issues in school.
So I made a deal with him. I said, hey, if you can stay in class, I'll teach you how to play chess. And his response was beautiful. He said, I already know how to play chess. I said, well, show me. And so what started as a challenge, he and I would just play during lunch as a reward.
The kids came by to watch and showed so much interest that Green launched a morning chess class and later another chess class after school. That's when Green said it was time to start competing in chess tournaments.
Looking for a way of giving a kid a tool who really needed a tool to make his life better, it turned into this program where we've now won more than 150 championships. But more importantly, Antonio and many of his friends are now college students.
Green believes every child should learn to play chess before any other discipline like playing an instrument or sports, because chess gives you a firm foundation in thinking, critical analysis, and discipline.
I like chess because it helps you learn and how to make sure that you think before you move. It's kind of like life.
You'll find that more boys play chess, but girls are actually the better chess players, just due to cognitive development.
What Green likes best, he says, is creating a community of players all helping each other get better.
What we do unique that here in our program, Bravo Zulu specifically, is we have a very communal aspect. They want to be here.
19-year-old instructor Carmelo Miles says the children at the camp motivate him to work harder.
Because I have to be on my A game to help them. I have to learn my theory, have to be in the chess books, I have to learn.
Everyone here is learning, and that, says Green, is the whole idea. Philip Alexio, VOA News, Washington.
Well, and that's our show for today. You can find all the continent's top news and world news online at voaafrica.com. Check it out. I'm Vincent McCory in Washington. Channels Television has our last word.
And we'll look forward to bringing you another show next week. Do remember that channelstv.com is your source for news and other programming. I am Bukola Koka. Thank you for watching and goodbye.